All right, all right, all right, all right. We are back. Sorry about that. A little crazy technical difficulties there, but we're here. So, anyways, so today's stream got a special one planned for today. That's gonna be really cool. I'm excited. So I figured we capitalize on all the awesome stuff that's happening in cinema right now with the independent films and a lot of the YouTube content creators who are experiencing a lot of success in the movie theater on the national level. So one of the movies that I saw recently was The Backrooms, which was awesome, by the way. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity to, dive into that and kind of talk about why that score is effective and what it does. Talk about Kane Parsons, who's the director, and what he did to kind of set the musical tone for the movie. And he was also actually one of the composers on the project. So, and then we're gonna make our own Backrooms-inspired track. So, shout out to everyone joining. We'll get started here in just a second. I have Ableton pulled up here. All right. Whoa. Let's see here. Okay. All right, so we have Ableton pulled up here, and I just want to let me check real quick to make sure we're live. We are live on YouTube. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. Shout out to everybody. So we're live on TikTok and YouTube. Let me make sure this is working. Shout off in the chat if you've seen the Backrooms. Like I said, my wife and I went this past weekend. Thought it was amazing. Thought it was really good. Thought it was a nice, fresh story. I think there's a lot they can do in the universe. Let's see. I feel like they can really expand on it. All right. So if you've seen the Backrooms, sound off in the chat and let me know. And let me know your thoughts of the score and the music and the sound design in particular. Give me 1 second. Sorry, all these technical difficulties, trying to get OBS to work, trying to get Twitch to work. It's just ridiculous, honestly. Twitch was the hardest, so I just cut it. We're not even doing a Twitch stream today. For some reason, it's being very difficult. So we're live here on TikTok. We're live here on YouTube. Let's see what we got. And we are going to get in and we are going to start creating here in just a second. But before we do that, like I said, I just want to send out a link here. And then we're going to get in. I got a bunch of cool analog gear. I actually have some tracks queued up and ready to go too. So I am actually prepared. So once we get started, it'll be quick. We just do this here. One of the things I can kind of talk while I'm doing this that I think is really interesting about the Backrooms in particular is that Kane Parsons, who's the director, also releases music on Spotify and has quite a substantial Spotify following, which is interesting because most directors, at least that I run into, they may be musicians, but they aren't, actively releasing music out there on Spotify. So it's actually really interesting to me to kind of see somebody also doing that and also directing films. So almost ready, guys. I'm sorry. Just a lot of technical difficulties today. Continuity is not working on my Mac, so it's not copying links from my Mac to let me paste in my iPhone. I actually send them via email to myself just to post them on. It's very annoying. All right. And then earlier when I was doing this, I got kicked off of TikTok because I was going to send the links out while my intro video was playing, but then TikTok kicked me off because it said that I didn't have, because I was using a static image and I wasn't live on camera, and it was going to suspend my account. So that's why we're doing this on live right now, because I did set up a link prior to doing this, and it didn't work. When I went to launch it, said I had to create something new. So here we are. Definitely not as fluid as it was yesterday, but that's okay. We're almost ready. One last one here. Just posting it on my Instagram. So like I said, what we're going to do on today's episode is we're going to make some Backrooms-inspired music here. And we're going to talk about the lo-fi synth sound. It's kind of like an 80s, 90s, early 90s synth style. Geez, man, this is just giving me a bunch of problems. So I'm gonna show how, dude, I'm gonna show how you can get that kind of lo-fi VHS sound using some cool plugins that I like to use. One being Serato's Hex effects, which is great. And I'm going to use the analog synth gear you see behind me here. So we'll get started on that here in just a second. In the meantime, like I said, sound off in the chat. Let me know if you're here. Let me know if you've seen the Backrooms. Have you seen the movie? What'd you think? What were your thoughts on the film? And do you think it's got potential to go further than just one movie? I personally think it does. I think they're going to do a whole series out of this. Whether it's TV or another movie or whatever it may be. I think the lore and the universe itself has a long way for it to go. So it'll be really interesting. So a little bit of background. So if you're familiar with the found footage material that's on YouTube, Kane Parsons, who is the director, he became one of the youngest directors ever to direct a film, a national film, and have it distributed by A24. The film itself is a kind of a YouTube idea that he had started posting short clips on his YouTube called Found Footage. And I included a link in the description of this particular video so you can check out the Found Footage if you haven't seen it. But it had a very unique take on the Backrooms video game. So it started as a video game originally, and then Found Footage was a video series that Kane Parsons made based on the video game. So I definitely recommend checking it out. Especially if you've seen the film, you should go back and watch the original, because the film was a little bit different actually, and the lore is a little bit different in the A24 universe versus the original Found Footage. And you can kind of see the difference there. I will say the music is kind of the same, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Uh, it's very interesting. It's not an orchestral score. It's pretty electronic, and it uses samples and a lot of uh, I don't know, vintage sounding plugins. So I did see an interview with Kane Parsons, and he talked about using synths from like the 2010s, Absinthe, Massive, some of the early like dubstep, trap, electronic, electro house style synthesizers, VSTs, plugins to recreate a lot of this sound. We're going to use analog, some analog here today. We may use some VSTs, some digital stuff as well. But the interesting thing about that is kind of this detuning lo-fi VHS to kind of match how the cinematography was used in found footage as well. So it matches really well and it creates a lot of tension. This detuning sound, which you'll hear a lot in horror films, is very, very, very popular in horror films, kind of like a wavering. And the analog gear is really good at mimicking that, and well, not mimicking it, creating it. And kind of gives it that more unstable feeling of that of tension, right? So when we have the wavering of the synthesizer sound and the pitch, it makes it sound, you know, less stable, I guess. So something could happen at any time. So if you're not familiar, we actually are going to take a look at one of the tracks today. I can't play it on stream, but there's a track called Handprint, and I included in the link down below so you can check it out. But in Handprint, it has these kind of bell sounds or plucky synth sounds that have this unstable feeling that play throughout the entire track, and that's kind of what we're going to focus on today. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So I have Ableton pulled up here. And I've already gone through and created a few tracks just for the sake of time, using some of the different gear that I like. So, if you were on yesterday's stream, we talked about the OB6 particularly, and how amazing it is, and the cool sounds we can make with it, specifically because of its VCOs, its voltage controlled oscillators, and how they have this unstable feeling or this unstableness in tuning that happens as they play. So we're definitely going to use this, and then I have the Prophet 10. So I'm going to try to limit the amount of synthesizers we're using to make it sound, you know, to keep it the same sound palette, I guess you could say. So to keep it sounding unique. So I got one of my favorite sounds here. This is called the Broken EP, and I'm gonna activate this one so you guys can hear it. Kind of has this wavering to it, right? So just to kind of walk you through a little bit of what's happening here. So it actually, we talked about this on the stream yesterday, but it has this ability to add an LFO to the frequency, which frequency is our pitch. It's the tone that the synthesizer is creating and adding to the keys. And so we can add this wavering sound effect that kind of plays with, and we can really exaggerate it. Obviously we don't want to do that much. Just want a little bit there. And it kind of has this, you know, lo-fi sound, and it has a lot to do with, it has a little distortion, the analog sound itself, but also this noise right here. So you can kind of hear one sound that I was playing with earlier that I think we're going to end up using is kind of this call and response thing. Now, before I get into that, one thing I'll say that's really cool is this score has a lot of tension using like really basic music theory, and which most pop music does, and that's the beauty of it, to be honest with you. And in this particular case, it adds to the tension itself. So if you were on yesterday, like I said, one of the things that we had discussed is using minor thirds and minor sixths because they're half steps in our minor scale, right? So I'm going to play something in the key of F minor, and it has this unstableness to it, and it's kind of, I'm going to do like a call and response type deal here, using a minor third and a minor sixth. And so we're in the key of F minor. So we have F, and then we're going to have our A flat, which is our minor third, and then we're going to have a C, which is our perfect fifth, and our D flat, which is our minor sixth. So you can do kind of like a cool call and response thing here. So I go up, and I'm going to do this within 2 octaves. So I'm going to go F, that detunage happening. And all I'm doing is I am taking F4, going to A flat 4, and then F3, A flat 3. And so I'm actually going to go up here and then respond opposite going down. So I have F, A flat, F, octave lower. And that's going to be my running theme there, at least for the beginning. And then I was playing with something a little bit after that, where we can kind of transition down. Instead of going F, A flat, F, we can actually go F, D flat, F. So we got something like this. So again, it's really working with the minor third and the minor sixth to kind of create this like cool tension and this cool feeling of waveriness. That's what I like to call it, kind of wavering in and out. It has like a cool little vibe to it, right? So let's go ahead and record this. This is going to kind of be the start of our song. So again. So, and if you've listened to the Backroom score, this kind of sound is used throughout the entire thing, especially this bell, like soft, eerie bell sound. And there's a lot of pads and other things we're going to add into, but let's go ahead and add this one in. And I'm actually going to dial back our waveriness. This is kind of like a mix amount of how much we're adding of that waviness, right? And so the frequency is how deep that waviness is, right? How much are we dropping down the pitch as we play? So let's go ahead and close that. And we got a metronome on here, and let's add this in. Actually, got a little early there. Hold on. There we go. For the end there, as you can see, I kind of messed it up, but we can just kind of go back over here and figure something. So out of this, we should do something kind of like, just do kind of like an F walk up there. Okay, an F minor chord essentially. And we'll quantize this. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to do something kind of cool here. We're actually going to take our perfect fifth here, or I'm sorry, perfect fourth, and add that in as a tone that kind of stands out here. Right? Okay, so let's go ahead, and I am going to play this here. Turn off the metronome. And kind of dial in that waviness a little bit. Now you can kind of hear there's like a repetitive, this particular sound. This is actually one of the presets that I like, that I use a lot on the OB6. It has kind of echo that is an octave lower, and so I'm actually going to turn that off. I can turn that off right here on VCO2. Okay. And kind of show you the difference here. Actually, that sounds kind of cool. Honestly, we should be able to automate this. We can. So maybe we do something kind of like a call and response even more here. Or maybe, even cooler, we just kind of randomly add it in every once in a while. Some harmonics on top of it, which is nice. Give a little distortion there. Oh, getting an alert. Okay, so, don't want to do that. All right, so yeah, so we got this cool little sound effect going on here, which I think sounds pretty nice, right? It's kind of a bell synth. Like I said, it's very similar to what you would hear on the Backrooms soundtrack. It reminds me of this, well, pretty much a lot of the bell sounds throughout the entire soundtrack, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and record this. All right. We're actually going to take and add even more to the synth sound here. We're going to add a little more distortion, some VHS, like fizz to it, and some waviness even more. We're going to add that to the full track here at the end. So we'll just play out here. Boom. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. So now I have this, and we're going to just deactivate this by tapping 0 and close that off. All right, so I got a few other sounds here that we're going to use. I think this is a good starting point for where we want to be. So let's go ahead and open up our Prophet here. So I have a few different sounds here. Make sure this is activated. Okay, and so I'm gonna add in some bass here. Okay, we got a little tuning on there, make sure we're good here. I kind of like we have that distortion there. Or take down the resonance a little bit. Get rid of the LFO. Okay. Now the cool thing about the Prophet 10 is we have a bunch of different filter styles that we can use, right? So you can hear kind of the difference, which is kind of nice. I personally like the sound of the Rev 3, which is right here, which I think is what it is. Turn off that modulation there. Okay, so actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I think it's still kind of glitching out because I shouldn't be getting that. Let's fix it real quick. Yeah, there we go. Much better. So it's glitching out. Okay. Still getting it a little bit. Turn these guys off. I think I see what's happening here. I'm getting some phasing. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot I had those ones on. I was like, why is this still getting that like LFO? But it's actually phasing that we're getting there. So, all right. So let's go ahead. We're going to lay this down. Oh. Make sure we hear one of them. I want to take this a little bit. Something like that. Actually, you can see I'm going to have to change the tuning on here a little bit because it's a little bit sharp. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Sixth. All right, and then we went down to our perfect fourth there at the end. All right, so let's move this guy out of the way. And again, if you're just tuning in, that's the Sound Tower plugin used to trigger my Prophet 10. Okay. Just want that low growl. And actually, you know what we can do? We're going to take this C to B flat here. up a little bit. And actually, so we don't get those little clicks and pops, we're going to increase the amplifier here a little bit. And we're going to modulate, automate this cutoff filter here. You see we're still getting a little bit of a click, which we'll fix here in just a second. That'll give us the filter modulation will help give us more of that waviness we're looking for. Okay, still getting a little bit of a pop there. Let's see if we can fix that. Sometimes it does this. I notice where it'll stop sending the parameters. I see what it's doing. Yeah, so it stopped a little bit earlier than what I thought. See, I should have known. We can move these up a little bit. Whew. This is the whole thing. All right, let's try this again. We're going to reload it here. And we'll fix it. We want to ask velocity. We want to turn off all the wheel mod LFOs. We want to be 3. There we go. Nice little growl there. I'm going to change this here a little bit, bring it down a little bit. Attack now. Yeah, it's fine. We'll just have to fix it in post. Okay, let's go ahead and record this. So this will give us a good, nice little bed underneath. We're not getting that pop anymore, right? We can actually, like I said, we can kind of do a little edit here at the beginning to get rid of it. A little crossfade right there. Do one right here at the end as well. Oh, I'm still getting it. Let's see what we got here. Actually. was. Look at that. So I thought it was the Prophet the whole time, and it was the OB6. Sometimes that happens. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want to also add a little reverberation to our to our OB6 here. And we're going to add in. I'm a fan of this Cathedral 2 sound. Let's see if it's good enough though. Nice. It's almost there. I'm just going to obviously cut the bass out of this. Forgot to do that. Alright, so we can make room for our bass here. Okay, so got a nice little cool little melody going here. So let's add in a few different things. We're gonna take this. We're definitely gonna take this further. It's not there yet, but we're getting there. Right. So we have our nice little bell sound. If you notice, if you listen to the actual original or any of the stuff that's on the Backrooms soundtrack, right? You have these kind of swell sounds that happen. They remind me of like future bass or like early electronic future bass sounds that kind of happen, but they're more vintage sounding. And so we can try, I actually set one aside here just to remember which one it was that we can use for that. All right, let's pull back up this. And so we're gonna get rid of this guy because we know what it is. And let's go ahead. I think it was this one on the bottom, 253. All right. Actually, no, I don't think that was the one. Nope, but we are gonna use that. That was one of the cool ones. You can hear some of the sounds I've used here so far. There's another one. Now a lot of these, they're dry, right? So they'll sound a lot better once we add some reverb. That's another good one. And then let's try 227. I gotta find the sound. Okay. What happened here? Oh, I see what it did. All right, so we have, that's not quite the right sound, but there we go. All right, so this really cool kind of swell sound. So we can, right, very vintage, very backroomsy. So, we got. All right. So I think first things we want to do here is we want to, let's bring this down, and we're actually going to do what we did yesterday here. And I think we're going to have these two tracks share our reverb. Now, if you were on the stream yesterday, like I was saying, I don't really like doing send returns in Ableton because it does some weird stuff with the panning. So I just kind of do these group aux tracks, essentially what they are, with the reverb. So we're going to have something like... You know what? I already want to add... Oh, not that. Let's go into our plugin here. Let's increase the release. A little less. Actually, it might even be cool instead of doing chords. Maybe we just do something like, yeah, very textural. I think maybe instead. So that's a little too heavy, I think, for what we're looking for here. Oh, me. Okay, we're getting there. A lot of trial and error. I don't like that. I think we're gonna do more like. So the interesting thing, I think, at this point is we have kind of a really like chill style track that's going on here, right? We don't really have that tension yet to make it sound like a horror film, but I think that's one of the beautiful things and cool things about the way that Kane Parsons integrated the soundtrack into the film is if you actually listen, there's some really cool ambient, beautiful stuff that's going on, which matches a lot of the music that he releases on Spotify. But then you have this tension pieces in the back, which we're going to do here in a second, right? So we have this kind of. And I think we're going to give this a little bit more. So let's go ahead and record this. Here. I'm not going to add it in again. All right. So usually, yeah, we're good. Okay, cool. Sometimes there's a little bit of delay in the recording. All right. So got something good here. All right. So now we need to add in the tension pieces, right? So we have this cool thing here. And actually, you know what? I am going to add in an auto filter here so we have a little more control instead of printing it. And I am going to really sit in the back there. You see we really have a lot of detunage going on here, which is what we want. Okay, so let's move on. All right, what do we got? Let's see what else I set aside here for us to use. 122. Oh, that's our bass sound, so we can actually get rid of that. I recorded in the wrong spot. 422. So let's close this. This was actually supposed to be right here. All right. Yes, okay, so this is another really cool sound effect sound I'm gonna use in the background. And I think we can kind of maybe do something in this part right here. So let's just add this reverb here. Just do really soft textures in the background. So we're gonna kind of just have them play randomly here. So this one's off by about a third. So let's actually see if we can tune this a little bit. Okay, we're gonna bring this all the way down. Our tune knob here. Okay. So you see it's got some detunage in here. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Let's see what we got. Throughout the entire thing here. Oh, let's turn our metronome. little textural background pieces there. Okay, let's put these in. You can see velocity-wise, really, really, really low. So some nice little textural pieces in the background there. All right, we're almost to the tension part. Still a little happy sound in here. So there's a question in the chat. It says any input on moving from a traditional production role into film. Some rock solid sounds. So appreciate you, man. Appreciate you stopping by. So that's actually my background too. So I come from a non-traditional background. I started as an electronic music producer actually, and was releasing like dubstep and trap and very heavy electronic for years. And then that's kind of how I got into music production. I'd played in band when I was in high school. I played the trumpet actually, and then I've been playing guitar since I was 5, but I didn't come from like an orchestral background, right? So I had no idea on orchestra music. I will say, and I discussed this on my stream yesterday, I did go back to school during the pandemic. I applied to Juilliard to their film program. They have a film certificate program, and I learned a lot. And I would highly recommend, if you can, getting in, to take some courses or just looking on YouTube, because I think the biggest thing is you have the production knowledge. You know the background, you know what you want to do as far as musically. But the pacing is kind of the biggest thing, right? So today we're actually not scoring a picture. I did do a video yesterday where we were scoring a picture, and we will do more of that, where you kind of have to figure out certain areas to remove or add more, whether that is through EQ or musically, through the instrument selection, reducing instruments, adding instruments, to create tension, and you're kind of pushing, pulling with emotions. It's a very different way of creating, and a lot of that has to do with like different things like time signature changes. So I can say from my personal background, a lot of the music that I was doing before getting into film was more or less like 4/4, 4 on the floor type deal, right? So I was doing a lot of like dance music, like I said, trap music. So it's just kind of kick on the 1 and then snares on the 2 and the 4, and you feel kicks and hi-hats and everywhere else throughout that, right? And in film music, that can be different, right? Because sometimes you may have to actually adapt the measure to hit on certain cut points where the producer, director, editor made edits because they particularly want the music, or maybe you feel it by watching that something should happen there. And sometimes that knowledge, being able to understand how to do that, is where the production background comes a little fuzzy. And I think somebody with a film composer background or who studied film composition, has a little bit more knowledge. And that was me. Like, I was there, I had no knowledge of that prior to doing that. And I think I learned a lot by just watching film composers compose the picture, which I will be doing more of. So if you're interested, definitely subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I did it yesterday. I did work on it a little yesterday. But I think the biggest thing is like understanding when to do those cuts, right? So the time signature change has to happen here. Actually, since you're here, what we can do is we'll just pull up the session from yesterday a little bit. So we'll save this. Let's just do Backrooms live. And I do, so if you're an Ableton user, I use Ableton to score a picture also. So here's a really good example. So this is like an old film. So this is also actually another really good point. Oh, wrong one, sorry. This is my edit of the full thing. So one thing I'll say is you can, like, this is actually a film from 1964 that's in public domain. So that means that you can go in, you can download it for free on the Internet Archives. So if you go to Internet Archive, I think it's internetarchives.org. Actually, let's take a look here. I can pull it up on our screen here. It is internetarchive.org. All right, let's pull this over here. So internetarchive.org actually has like a lot of films and stuff like that. You can get a lot of stuff that's in public domain. So you can search, so you can see there's actually says there's 16 million films on here. Now, granted, this is like stuff people upload. There might be clips, they might do different things, and sometimes you have to watch out if it's in public domain or not. But if you look up The Last Man on Earth, so you can see there's a few different ones, and you can actually go through and it'll tell you like review wise. So you can actually sort. How did I do this last time? By views. I did all-time views, and I found it in here, and I actually was able to find like a colorized version, which was great. Dude, yeah, that's awesome, man. Like, same exact background, man. That's awesome. That's cool. Congrats, for trying to make a play on it. It's fun. It's very rewarding. And honestly, if you want my honest opinion, there's not many of us that are doing it, really. It's interesting. I will tell you my experience. So I lived in New York City for a long time, and my experience has been it's a very closed industry, and you get a lot of orchestral and people who studied like music in college, and it's a very different approach from our background of how we approach making music, and sometimes you kind of get pinned as being the what's the word I want to, like, non-traditional composer, which you think might be a good thing, but sometimes that's kind of a stigma that follows that. So like I've actually, over the past couple of years, in addition to doing my electronic work, I've had the opportunity to work with orchestras. And I remember when I was in Costa Rica working with an orchestra there, I kind of got labeled as like the hip hop dance music guy, which was funny, and I wear it, I wear the badge of honor because I think that's important. So I think it's really cool that you're doing it, because there isn't very many of us. If you think about scores that are out there right now, the electronic scores are becoming more common. Like I was just saying, Kane Parsons, who, we were talking about at the beginning of the stream, he, has an electronic background. In addition to being a director, he actually has music on Spotify. You can go here. Let's just look it up. He has like a pretty big Spotify following, actually. So you can see he's got 388,000 monthly listeners. And so, he's doing electronic music. He actually is using, he talks about in an interview using Massive and using Absinthe you know, some of the classic synths that I started on when I was making dance music, and that was kind of the original sound that he was using for the Backrooms. So you know, I feel like this sound's becoming more common. That's why I'm personally embracing it. I love the sound of synth textures. I love you know, sound design and that kind of thing. So you know, and in dance music you have to do that. So I feel like it's a natural evolution. And dance music, ironically, is very similar to classical music. So you have these, you build up, you know, classical music and orchestral music has these builds and these drops, and really that happen through the performance and these long symphonies. So you kind of, it's like a DJ mix. And I always laugh because I don't think people see that parallel a lot, is that an orchestra is essentially is playing what a DJ would play, but doing it live. So you have, they're building up and they're coming back down, they're building up again, they're coming back down. And so I feel like that's also why film music has evolved to be more electronic as well. Is because you have these parallels between the two of them. They work really well for pulling on emotional strings. So it's very cool that you're doing that. But definitely, I would highly recommend, if just, you know, a good starting point is to just go to these internet archives, download some free films, you know, and do it that way. And then, like I was saying, close this window. We were working on this yesterday, so, and you can see I talked about time signature changes, so I'll just play it and then we'll get back to what we were doing before. But
the sun's already set. They'll be everywhere.
And so you can see, like, I have these time signature changes that are happening throughout. They kind of have different cue points where I want things to hit. So for example, when he runs, you can see this first one, right, is I'm changing to 9/8, which essentially is 9/8 notes in the measure, which is 1 over what a normal measure would be in 4/4 time. And that to me is a cut point. So I want something to happen there. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of those situations where, so I just see a comment. Yeah, so exactly, yeah, right. I mean, this is essentially a build, right? And I haven't finished it yet. We were getting to that point yesterday, but this is, he runs out and he sees these zombie creatures, which are like they're like vampire zombies. It's kind of a cool concept for a film, honestly. But that's where I was gonna have the, like, kind of like a almost like a dance, like break, essentially like a synth wave, or, you know, a mid-tempo style sound there, right? And so it's building up to that particular point. So yeah, man, it's funny to see you say this. I appreciate you stopping by, because I was in the same like situation. I've been in the industry for 14, well, actually at the time 13 years before I switched over. So very similar path, man. I feel what you're saying. It's really cool that you want to get into it. It's a lot of fun. It's very rewarding. I really enjoy it. And I get to play with a lot of cool gear, and I meet a lot of cool people. You know, I would say, like I said, film is making progress towards this more electronic sound, but like video games are another opportunity. I'm in the process of scoring a game right now we're using all synths. It's kind of like a space exploration game, and we're using ambient synth sounds, kind of like a Blade Runner style score that I've been working on for a little bit. So yeah, man. I think if you really look into it, you know, definitely I would study pacing. Pacing is probably the biggest thing that you have the production knowledge, the being able to make a song. And I will say, a lot of times composers aren't necessarily even getting hired because they can do something like musically that's different than any of us. It's really because they understand cutting, and how to match the feeling of what the director is going for. And a lot of times you're more or less, honestly, you're kind of just trying to figure out exactly what the director wants. And you get lucky. We talked about this yesterday too. Sometimes you have temp music out there where you get to actually, you know, have as a reference point. But you're trying to really manage it's not, I don't want to say egos because it's not the right way. It's their way, right? Because it's their baby. Like something, usually you're coming in at the end of production and they have an idea of what they want it to be, and they had music in mind when they created that scene. They might have been listening to something while they wrote that scene if they're a writer. So understanding how to capture that feeling and understanding, how to guide the conversation. If you think, it could, maybe you have an idea for something that you think could enhance the director's vision, but it's not in line with what they want. Understanding how to bring that up in conversation. So a lot of times, and I think this is why, not trying to say that any composer out there isn't, talented, but I think sometimes you find that some artists are more talented, maybe from like a songwriting standpoint, that are creating records for Spotify and that kind of thing. And the artists that are best at doing film music are the ones who are more minimal. And maybe they're not trying to write an amazing song. They're trying just to complement the scene. So understanding how to balance that, I think, is like a really important part of it too. But anyways, so yeah, man, appreciate you stopping by. Very cool. I really appreciate that. And I'll be talking about it way more. I'll be talking about how, like I said, we'll probably get back into the other one maybe tomorrow. Today was just trying to change it up a little bit and do something with the Backrooms, just because I really like the score a lot. And if you haven't checked out the whole Backroom score yet, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. Anyways, all right, cool. So back to it. So let's hear what we got real quick since we changed it up a little bit. Actually, I think it's playing in the background here, so let's mute that. Yeah, it was. Okay. It's one of the problems. Sometimes when we reload back into a session, it kind of resets the profit back to 0. So you see, I'm going to set this bell sound really quiet in the background here. You know what we're going to do? We're actually going to put an auto pan on here and have it kind of go back and forth between the two headphones, left and right. And I'm going to really exaggerate it. Hear the detunage in there. Like I said, trying to capture that. That's kind of the sound of the Backrooms. We're gonna take it even further though. We're gonna add in a cool effect here in a second. All right, so I'm actually gonna get rid of some of these because I think we have the main idea of what we're gonna do for the ambient stuff. Let's add some tension in. So I'm actually gonna go back to the OB6 for that because as we used in yesterday's session, I have a good idea for, or I have a good plugin that we can use for that tension sound that also has some wavering. It's this cassette 408. This one is a really cool sound. Like I said, I used it yesterday. Oh, we don't want to do that. Okay. All right, let me get this. Up a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. And we want to give it a little bit. And we're going to turn on our chorus here to give it some width, or more width, perceived width, I guess you could say. Okay, and we're going to really work in tension. So it's a second and a third. Let's see what we got here. lot. I want to give this a lot of tension. Actually, you know what? Actually, might be better here. We're gonna keep that because we're gonna use it. I'm gonna pull in the Farfisa here. One of the keyboards that I really want to get eventually, like a real one. I've been eyeing one. There's one for sale in Los Angeles right now. I've been eyeing it. Actually, hold on, we gotta go back to the default. Actually, no, I know what I'm gonna do here. Where are you at? There's one plugin, or one that I like to use in here. That's this one. Yeah. We're gonna drip this in reverb. So again, because of the score in particular, it's got this very spacey sound. That's why we keep going back to reverb. My apologies for the siren in the background there. All right. I'm actually gonna do something pretty cool on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my RC20 here, actually. This is gonna kind of warp it a little bit. I'm gonna turn down this wobble, turn on the rate. Okay, we really want to do tension, tension, tension. Okay. Like that. Perfect. There we go. I want that dissonance. Oh. There we go. I messed that one up. Hold on. I don't know what I did. I'll just fix it. Fix it super quick here. You just gotta go down one more. There we go. Oh. So in this particular case, I am trying to really add in that detuning sound. That's the purpose here, right? So want that waviness, like I was saying, like I've mentioned many times. Let's add a flanger in here too. Okay, so we have this cool little waviness. We have a nice little bed. Now, what I want to do is I actually want to kind of have that bell sound fade out, and we're going to add even more. Let's put a filter on here. So I'm going to have this guy kind of come down like this. I'm going to really drop it out here. Okay. This up a little bit. Oh, actually, I wanted to keep that. Whoops. Because we're going to add in. Forgot about that. Also add in this right here. Bring back in that tape cassette chorus that I like. All right. Okay. All right. So, sorry. Let's bring that down a little bit. Oh. So we're gonna take this and we're actually gonna. Sound here. Mixes those, so it kind of sits in there a little bit better. All right. Okay, so I have this, like I said, kind of this creative. Now this is a dry, pretty well. I mean, it's got the chorus on it, but it doesn't have any reverb on it right now. So I'm going to add some reverb on this too, to kind of help. And matter of fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it. I'm gonna put it in the group channel with the Farfisa. I really like that sound. That sounds really pretty. Really captures that if you listen to the backroom score, I feel like it really captures it really well. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's go ahead and I kind of didn't want to do that, but that's okay. I don't feel like we're recording it right now, so we're going to use that for right now. And let's go ahead and bring this guy in. Oh yeah. Take out some of these little mids in here, just a little bit of the bass. Right there. So, got some so actually, you know, we may just kind of let this go out like that. So yeah. Liking how this sounds. Just trying to get the mix it just a little bit. We'll mix it better, but all right. So got something really cool here. I'm really liking where we're at. It's funny because this is actually coming out a lot more ambient. Sometimes that's just the way it happens. It still has this like creepy tone to it though, which I think is cool. It's kind of unsettling. Right? Okay, so now we're gonna do one of my secrets here. Well, it's not really a secret anymore. I guess it's, a lot of people are starting to use it now, but let's bring in some more textures and kind of crazy sounds. So if you don't have this plugin, I'm gonna tell you, this is like one of the best. Dystropia, it's incredible. You're about to hear in a second, but I've gotten into so many conversations with so many composers on Instagram about this. Like it is the best in my opinion. It does some really cool things. So let's. So you see just some textural sounds. It's a little pricey, but sometimes you can get it on sale. I got it during Black Friday, which I think it was like 25% off. So I really like that a lot, actually. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna go with something like that. So this is just going to kind of add a little textural piece on the background there. And I have another idea actually that I thought of while I was listening to that. That's why I stopped it a little late. All right, let's just hear this first. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Isn't that crazy? It's like how it always is. You do one thing and then you have an idea for the other thing. You're like, wait a second. Gotta finish the first idea first. It's the story of my life. See here, it's just very textural. Duplicate that. Alright. Okay, so that was the first thing we came across. I really just kind of jump around because, like I said, this is a very textural plugin. Here's another one. So that's kind of some sinister sounds in the background. So let's actually try that. Right here. Oh yeah. Okay. Again, subtle. We're gonna do the same thing here. Except we're gonna bring this down to the minor 6 like we've been doing. It's kind of the overall theme of this guy. So it's a good question. So Rock Solid Sound had another question. It said, what would the ratio between making pieces like this and scoring to pictures since you've been doing this? It depends. So, you know, I would say recently I've been doing more pieces like this. So for example, like we talked about earlier with the video games tend to be less to picture and more like your basic tracks. You know, like you're essentially creating music, really. Sometimes you have to do to picture, especially if it's like a role-playing game, right, where it's got like a really intense storyline and there's cutscenes and stuff like that. You will essentially score into picture like you would a film. But a lot of times, for example, with the video game I'm doing, because it's a strategy space exploration game, there isn't any cutscenes. So it's mostly music like this where I'm doing kind of ambient sounding music that people play as they're gaming, right? Now, this style of music, and I'll drop a link in the chat here so you can kind of see. So I actually have two different. Here, I'll kind of show you. I have two different styles of music that I release music under. So I have my film scoring page on Spotify. If it loads. Which is just my name. So this is like, I put like mostly like piano, some ambient tracks out here. This stuff tends to do really well. There's some orchestral hybrid style tracks that I've done here too. And then, so that's one artist page, and then I have another artist page where I do electronic music. And this is my like old electronic my old electronic alias that I used for a long time. And I'll drop this one in the chat. This is actually the one, to be honest with you, that I kind of have more fun making. As you can see, it has significantly less monthly listeners than my artist page. But I just started doing this one again. I just started like putting out tracks. And actually, my most recent film I did was all electronic. Actually, it was pretty much synthwave score. That soundtrack's not out yet because the film is going through the festival circuit right now. But hopefully, it'll be out later this year. And that one was pretty much all electronic. I played guitar on it, which was really cool. And then, like I said, the Org soundtrack. Org is the name of the game, the space exploration game. That one, we're actually getting ready to release the first batch of tracks as like a promo for the game really soon. We actually just started putting it together, so that should be coming out soon. But a lot of it's like ambient style stuff, very similar to what I'm making here. I would say this is definitely more in the vein of Backrooms, kind of more like 80s, 90s, like smooth ambient music, where like I said, Org is more like Blade Runner. And then this stuff, so this stuff right here is like No Return is very similar to like Survive, Stranger Things, Fog Warning, same thing, and 87 Terror. This one's like very similar to like heavy synthwave. So, and then I got some other ones on here too. The Visions is a record where I kind of did some orchestral electronic music together. So yeah, so I still put out music. I just started doing it again, actually. That's why this page hasn't grown very much. I just started putting out just straight music, electronic music again. And it's getting there. It's grown about 2,000 listeners in the past month, which is pretty good because this hasn't been like outside of my own promo, really no help. There's some playlists that pick me up, which I'm thankful for. But yeah, so I'm mostly this style stuff now. Now, if you're doing film, rarely outside of like the intro of the film where you're doing like the opening credits and then like the end credits, you get to do something like that's the same all the way through and there's not cut points. That's where it differs from video games quite a bit. I would definitely say with films, it's usually more complementary to like what's happening on the screen, and rightfully so. That makes sense. Versus just trying to create music. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit. That was a good one. Yeah. So. I might actually add in. So let's. I have a Juno, but just for the sake of the stream, let's bring in the rolling cloud here. We're gonna use the plugin when I actually have the real thing behind us, but that's okay. Just because I want to try something here, and it's a little bit easier than designing the sound quick on my Juno. I want to actually put a nice little pluck sound in here. Where are you at? I think, yeah, something like that. And we're gonna, I think we should definitely probably leave that in there, and we're actually going to cut this part out here. We'll bring it down just a little bit because I do like the drop, but I think it's just a little bit too much. And we're actually going to do something like this. Automate this change here so that you were getting some drops. And then let's go ahead and add in that do just quarter notes here. Textures in the background here. So already we got something that's about 1:40, which should actually be pretty good for a film cue. Usually film cues are relatively short. Sometimes you do have to create ones that are a little bit longer, but for the most part, they are pretty short. That's another cool thing about film cues. Video game cues tend to be a little bit longer. At least in my experience. Maybe find a different textural sound to go here. That's cool. Go. Oh, great. Something like that. Cool. gets a little bit too repetitive. First one. I mean, we could replay it again, but I kind of like just resampling it here because I know the plugin we used, or the preset number. There we go. Actually, I think we're going to bring this in a little early too here. I don't think so, maybe not. See, the problem for me is that Farfisa hits a little too abruptly, so maybe we add in another filter here. We're going to keep this one because I don't want to mess with the modulation there, but we're going to dual filter it here. A little overkill, but that's okay. So, first things first, actually, you know what, I lied. First things first, we actually want to we're going to add some Serato Hex here. Serato Hex is a really cool plugin that I like to use that adds some dirtiness to it. Preset. So I'll run with that because I kind of like that. Sounds really cool. Actually, I know what it is. Aha. All right, so here's another cool plugin I'm going to use. So this one actually is a collaboration with Hans Zimmer. It's a really cool one. It's got some cool sounds in it, but there's actually a sound that I like in here that I think will work really well. Where are you at? I have it saved. I guess I can. I don't know where it's at. It's definitely this one, but I thought so we'll just play it. That's fine. To the metronome, huh? Let's take this guy. We're going to add in another one of these cool sound effects that I got. Now, the idea of this is kind of forward motion. That's what I'm going for here. If I had to explain it from a compositional standpoint a little bit, is we want to kind of make it feel like it has movement. Some sub-frequency there, which does not help with our mix, so let's cut that out. rest of the film-esqueness of it. Love it. Cool. All right, so I think it's a good spot for us to call it for our stream today. Appreciate everybody stopping by and checking it out. So this is our track. This is our Backrooms-inspired, which came out to be more of an ambient style track, I guess. Kind of ran with it. I don't know, what do you guys think? You guys think it backroom-esque? More ambient, I guess, but hey, you know what? It's fine. I think this actually adds to it. I mean, the idea is there. This part especially. You know, and the idea, I think, is essentially capture that wonder and awe that you would see, that you see like what is this place? What is it, right? And there's obviously throughout the movie other more sinister sounding music, but particularly if you listen to the opening track on the OST, it's very similar to this. I would think, at least in my mind. Gotta get some little bit there. There we go. Cool. All right, well, thanks for tuning in today. That is going to be it for the stream. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody stopping by, checking it out. This was our Backrooms-inspired track. Maybe we'll do another one of these. Maybe we can do something with Obsession or something like that. I think it's kind of cool that a lot of these YouTube content creators are, making a lot of really great movies, and they're getting their chance to have it on the big screen on a national scale outside of YouTube in a theater. I think that's awesome, and I think a lot of the music that's coming out of that is very experimental, which is I'm always a fan for. So thanks for tuning into today's episode, and I'll see you all next time. If you aren't, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Really helps the channel out a lot. If you click the like button also, that really helps me out a lot too, because it gets in the algorithm and lets YouTube see it, and hopefully more people will see this. And if you tuned in today, definitely tune in tomorrow. Like I said, always down to answer questions and talk about my experiences as a film and TV and game composer, as well as dive into more tracks. I mean, I do this every day anyway, so it's cool to kind of get on and create and do that with you guys. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.